My name is Dino Farfante, and I'm Director of Business Development at Eide. And today we're going to talk about how fixed assets can elevate your business. Here's what we'll be reviewing today in today's webinar. First, we'll introduce our team on the phone and give you an introduction to Eide and who we are. Then we'll introduce you to fixed assets, the module, and its application features. Along the way, you'll get to see a brief demonstration of fixed asset management in action. Finally, we'll wrap up and take questions and talk about next steps. So let's get started. I'm Dino Farfante, as I said before. I'm Business Development Director at Eide. I've been working with NetSuite for over 12 years as both a business owner that implemented NetSuite and as a director over consulting practices. I have industry experience with NetSuite and other ERP systems. On the phone with me is Kim Hitchcock, who will be taking us through the fixed asset demo today. Kim is an experienced NetSuite implementer and solutions engineer. She's certified in several NetSuite applications and has over 10 years experience in ERP, including NetSuite, SAP, and Microsoft. At Eide, we like to think of ourselves as advisors first and technology providers second. We only succeed when our clients succeed. And that's why our driving force every day is to help you find the best way to move forward. We bring our knowledge, passion, and experience to transform the way you do business and deliver lasting results. Eide has been around for over 100 years and is a top 20 CPA firm. Eide is more than just an accounting firm. We're an award-winning consulting business too. We are driven to help our clients take on the now and the next with inspired ideas, solutions, and results. Our teams have experience that span multiple industries using a proven services approach that focuses on business processes and user adoption. Our practice also specializes in complementary technologies like Salesforce, CRM, data analytics, integration, and advisory services. Our offerings are always focused on helping our clients maximize their return on investment. Our NetSuite team provides services to clients across the United States. We have successfully implemented over 500 implementations and boast an award-winning team. We have 55 consultants holding over 100 certifications with an average of 10 years of experience. Our team has earned the America's Solution Provider Award 4 out of the last 5 years. This award is based as much on customer experience and success as it is in its strong and growing NetSuite practice. NetSuite Fixed Assets Management enables you to maintain and control the complete asset lifecycle from creation to depreciation, revaluation, and retirement. The Fixed Asset module is built for NetSuite and works with the NetSuite platform, including NetSuite tools like customizable workflows, searches, reports that are configurable to how you do business. The module is designed to manage the complete asset lifecycle, completely integrate asset management with accounting, maintain accurate records for compliance and reporting, eliminate manual effort in multiple spreadsheets, and automatically post asset transactions directly to NetSuite accounts. NetSuite's Fixed Asset Management solution gives you an easy-to-manage single version of the truth for your company-owned and lease assets, flexible depreciation and amortization schedules, and a detailed asset reporting and seamless integration with NetSuite's core accounting functionality. There are some important features of the Fixed Asset module, and we'd like to point out these features, such as asset categorization, asset proposals, and depreciation assets. Asset categories can be personalized to your organization based on your rules and processes. NetSuite native CSV import tool can be utilized to import asset records. Several of these features will be shown in the demonstration we'll talk about. So here's the demonstration topics Kim will be presenting. Kim, let me turn it over to you.
Perfect, thanks Dino. And can you go to the next slide? All right, great. So what you're looking at here is a flow chart that's going to diagram what the fixed asset module is going to be able to do for you today. You can see in here that you can have an asset start from the vendor bill or many other transactions in the system, and it'll take it through the area where it will go from the transaction to the asset disposal. So you can manage your entire asset life cycle in the system from start to finish. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into NetSuite, and if you can allow me to share my screen, Dino. And then we're going to take it from NetSuite and go right into the entire flow chart. All right. So what I'm going to start off here with is walking into NetSuite and going through a few of the asset setup features. From here, I'm going to start going through the asset setup of the asset types. Like I mentioned, this is configurable and customizable to your guys's different assets that you'll be depreciating, and it should mirror what's going on in your fixed asset liability accounts in your general ledger. As you can see in this account, I have several different things set up, including buildings, computer equipment, furnitures, and fixtures. From here, I'm just going to go into one of these so we can highlight some of the details that you can see when you're setting up an asset type. You can see here that you can have your description names and accounting methods. So these accounting methods are pre-built for NetSuite, and they have a bunch of different asset depreciation methods that you can choose from. And starting in here, you can see that I have the straight line. If for some reason there's anything that is outside of the system that you depreciate and we don't have it in NetSuite, it is fully configurable utilizing these different formulas here on the side so that you can build your own asset depreciation type. Now that we've gone through and done the different depreciation methods here, we're going to actually build out an asset from start to finish utilizing the transactions in the system. I'm going to go ahead and go through a vendor bill and start the asset depreciation creation. So from here, I'm going to go into a vendor bill. And it's going to show me that I have a vendor bill here. My vendor bill happens to be for a computer laptop. And as you can see from the item record expense account is going to drive that this is going to a computer equipment fixed asset account, as you can see here. So based on the way that I've entered in my transaction, NetSuite's going to automatically propose this asset for generation. So as you can see, when you're entering into things into the system, different transactions such as your assembly builds, inventory adjustments, inventory transfers, and item receipts, as well as vendor bills, the system will take that information and start asking you to propose those assets and generate them. Let's move on to the generation of the asset. So over here, I can go to Manage Asset Proposals. And as this loads up in the system, it will go ahead and bring in my vendor bill and other transactions that are looking to be generated in here. The great thing about generating an asset from a transaction is it actually brings in all of the information from the original transaction, such as original cost, purchase date, and supplier related information. I can go ahead here, create generate asset, and it's going to run in the background and generate that asset for me. So moving on to the asset record itself, we will then be able to look at the asset and determine where the information is coming from. So in the asset record, I have the asset name. I have an asset serial number, so I can capture my serial numbered information and be able to relate that back to the asset record. I can have different parent information. So if I have related assets that I need to group together, I can have that information in there as well. I have my asset type from the very beginning when we categorized the asset. So I can look at all my assets by asset type. I'm capturing the original cost from the transaction record. I'm capturing the depreciation method that went along with that asset type. I'm able to put my depreciation duration and how often I'm going to be able to run depreciation on this. And then I can have a status of if my asset is depreciating or if it's active. Coming down here, I can have some general information related to the asset record. This is going to be what department it might belong to, or any of my classifications. As you can see that this is related to the financial segmentations inside of NetSuite. So all of my assets are being tracked back to my general ledger and my accounting system automatically by the data that's entered into the transaction and into the system itself. I can even track who might own this asset record. So if I have issued this out to an employee, I can track which employee I've issued it out to. I can track my depreciation start and end dates. And then over here, I can see all of the related information from my original transaction. And it's hyperlinked, so I can click on it and go right back to that transaction and look at the details. When I'm ready to start depreciating the assets or even write off the asset, I can see where that's going to have the accounting impact by the way that the asset is set up. I'm able to track insurance information. So if I have insurance policies, I can track that information. I can track maintenance information. If it's something that needs to be on a warranty, I can track that warranty information and have scheduled reminders that lets me know things are going to be on a maintenance. And then over here, I can see that I have tax depreciation. I can set things up on tax depreciations. All right. As part of the month-end close process, you'll want to ensure your assets are depreciating. So from here, your next item that you would go through is going down to the depreciation of the asset. You would go in here, click on it, select the computer equipment or any of the asset types that you would like to do. You can have all of them depreciate at once, or you can select the one that you would like to depreciate. Select your depreciation date, and if there's any kind of reference memo that you'd like to do. From here, you will go ahead and click on depreciate, and it's going to go ahead and look at all of the active assets in the system and run a depreciation on them based on today's date. So you want to do this as part of your closing process to be able to run depreciation on all of the different items that need to be depreciated. Coming back to the asset record itself, I'm going to show you where that depreciation is going to be linked in the system. So as things are being depreciated in the system on the depreciation schedule, you're going to go into your depreciation history. You're going to see that because this is an active depreciating asset, it's going to go ahead and collect all of your depreciation information right through here. Let's click on the View button. And now you can see here is the depreciation schedule for this particular asset. And coming down here, you can see that the linked journal entry has been related to this asset to show the different information that's being depreciated. If I click on the journal entry, you'll be able to see the details of this asset depreciation journal right in the system, and that it's linked right back to the asset record itself. Now, there's many other things you can do with the asset record. Some of the other things in here that you can do is dispose of an asset. You can revalue an asset, split it, or transfer it. So when you want to go ahead and dispose of an asset because you're able to write it off, you've sold it, anything like that, you can come in here and actually look at all your asset types, whether it's going to be a sale or a write-off. In this case, we'll do a write-off. And then you can look at what day you want to go ahead and dispose of it. So we'll go ahead and dispose it as of today. You can pick all your active assets to dispose. So this is going to bring up a list of all of those assets that are actively depreciating that you can go ahead and dispose of. If something's already disposed, it will not show up in this list. We can go back to the one that we were working on. I can choose the quantity I want to dispose. So if this was an asset that had a quantity more than one, I can just choose to dispose off or write off one of those assets and still have a remaining on there. It's going to go ahead and run in the background for me and then dispose of that asset. Once it's done disposing, what you'll see in the list of the assets is on the status itself, they will be changed to disposed. as you can see, as this one is now disposed. So one of the last things I have to show today is going through the different information as it relates to reporting. So like Dino mentioned, NetSuite's fixed asset module is built on the NetSuite platform. Therefore, you get to be able to automate different processes. So you can automate creations of assets. You can utilize workflow to assign approvals on assets for creation. You can also have general reporting and saved searches built into the system to be able to do different asset type functions. NetSuite comes out of box with some pre-built reporting. You can go into the generate report fields here. You can pick what types of reports you want to run. So in this case, I can run an asset register. I can choose what my start and end dates are. So let's run it for today, or the beginning of April all the way through. We'll just choose the end of the year. And then from here, I can choose what I would like to run. I can continuously filter down my reports based on the information I have here. If I generate the report, it's going to go ahead and generate in the background for me. And then as it's done and being generated, it's going to show up in my reports so I can run it later on and look at that information. In here, I can come in here and I can look at some of the different reports I have already scheduled to save. And I can choose to run them as a CSV, a PDF, or an XML. Let's open up this one. It's going to open as a PDF. And as you can see, I have now different depreciation schedules that I can look at for all of my different assets that are active. I can also utilize some saved searches. So NetSuite's pre-built some saved searches for us already in the fixed asset module, including inspections due or insurance information. So I can see all of this information. And as you can see, it's utilizing native NetSuite functionality to be able to bring and maintain my fixed assets for me without me having to do anything externally or on a spreadsheet. We also mentioned that NetSuite has the flexibility to import assets. By utilizing the native NetSuite import tool, you are able to go ahead and import a list of assets into the system to allow that depreciation and the creation of the assets to begin. This concludes our demonstration today of the fixed asset module. I'm going to pass it back over to Dino and allow for questions.
Thank you, Kim, for the demonstration. I'm going to introduce Amy Canust, who leads our solution engineering team, and she'll lead the questions and answer part of our discussion. Amy?
Thank you, Dino. We do have a couple of questions at this time. So the first question is this feature already included in NetSuite, or do we have to subscribe separately?
Great question. So the fixed asset module is an additional module that can be purchased from NetSuite.
I think that also might depend upon the version of NetSuite that you purchased. In some cases, if you have a Suite Success license, fixed assets is bundled in. I know it's included in the manufacturing premium edition. So it's possible you may already own it, but we would need to validate your addition. And Kim, the second question we have is, can you use this to track personal property assets even if it is expensed and not depreciated?
Great question again. Yes, you are able to do both depreciating and non-depreciating assets within the fixed asset module.
And in addition to that, I believe there is a flag on the asset record that would allow you to exclude this from your depreciation and fixed asset reconciliation reports. So you could trigger this to just be a personal property asset that only shows up on personal property schedules and does not show up when you're reconciling your assets. Okay, that's the extent of our questions today. Dino, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you, Amy. Now let's talk about next steps. One of the areas that we want to talk about as a next step is how do you maximize your journey on NetSuite? And Eide as a company offers a number of different options from a support perspective, from optimization of modules like fixed assets to other support services. We have a full line of on-demand services as well as NetSuite managed services. Managed services will help you enhance through administrative services as well as optimization. Please ask your client success manager for any more information on these offerings. Again, thank you for attending today's webinar. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Kim Hitchcock at eyebailey.com or your client success manager. Thank you again, and this concludes our webinar.